Okay, so do Uber drivers have to worry about citations and tickets on while performing services? Yes, because when you go to the airport, there's going to be risks of, like, you have to make sure that you park on the white curb, because if you just decide that you want to double park without permission from parking enforcement, then they're gonna give you a ticket. If your client is not ready to, they're not ready, like say you have a pickup request and you're there and they're not ready because they're like somewhere else, because they have to be in departures, always at departures, drop-offs at departures, pickups at departures, and on the white curb, unless instructed by parking services. So if you go to an airport and you decide that you want to just double park because you just want to, and you're parking all crooked, that you are going to get tickets, and they will give you tickets. So you do not want to run the risk of getting tickets, because then again, you're not making money. There's no profit involved if you're getting tickets. If your client is in the city and they're standing on a red curb, like a bus zone or a red curb, do not pick them up there. Don't even stop for a second, because your rider will take their time, and they will run the risk of you'll get a ticket. And those tickets are expensive. They could be $300-$400, or more. So you don't want to get those tickets. And do not go in carpool across any bridges, especially in the Bay Area, if you don't have the right number of riders, because your client tells you, because you will get a ticket. I guarantee you. Like, don't take any risks with your riders because they are in a hurry and they want you to rush or to do things or run a red light. There's some cities that have a lot of camera lights. You don't want to go into these cities running red lights or running yellow lights. Don't run the yellow lights on camera lights, because you will get a ticket in the mail. Make sure you stop at stop signs for the right amount of time. Like, don't do like a California stop where they say you stop and go. And do not stop at red lights or run red lights, like making the right turn, because you need to stop. You have to stop and then go. Look both ways and go. So don't be breaking traffic laws. Don't be pulling over at places like handicap places, or places where you could get a ticket, or making left turns, like say in San Francisco, when it says no left turn, only for taxis, because you're not a taxi. You're not identified as a taxi yet. You are part of the TNC, which is the Transportation Network Companies, under the CPUC, which is the California Public Utilities Commission. So you fall under that umbrella for like phone service, but you're not recognized as a taxi driver, so you can't make those turns. You can't drive in taxi lanes. Taxis could drive. I mean, they complain a lot about us as ride sharing drivers. However, they got a lot of rights. Like, they could drive, they could make those left turns like buses do as well. They could do they could drive in taxi lanes. Like, there's some red lanes that are designated in San Francisco, where they could take they can make those left turns or drive in taxi lanes. But us as drivers of the service of ride sharing, we can't make those turns, or we can't drive in those lanes. So you have to be careful with tickets, because you will get a ticket driving these places that making pickups in like red zones, or and bus stations, and at places. And you have to be careful when you're parking at places. So say if you're tired and you want to sleep, they have some signs that might say, like, there's going to be some street cleaning on Sunday at 7 o'clock, and you go to sleep at 5 o'clock, and all of a sudden you get a ticket like at 7:01. And that will happen, because I got a ticket doing that. I was trying to be safe, and then the guy wakes me up and saying, like, hey, we're going to do some street cleaning. And I was like, oh, I didn't know, because there's no sign, and because it was like behind a bush or something. So I was like, oh, cool, thank you. And I said, I've been driving and I just want to rest. And then he was saying, like, yeah, I understand it's hard. So he said, yeah, you could go on the other side, because we're not cleaning that side. It was like 7:01 or something like that. And I was like, cool, thank you. And then 3 weeks later, I get a ticket in the mail. Like, the guy in San Francisco didn't have the decency to say, hey, I'm going to give you a ticket because it's 7:01 and you can't be parked here at 7 on a Sunday in front of a shop, like in front of like stores on like Geary Street. So yeah, it's kind of unfair because you're tired and you're trying to be safe, but things happen, you know. I did get a bus zone ticket once before when riders couldn't input addresses or destinations, and they gave me this ticket, and I think the girl was arguing because she wasn't ready with her directions. And I wanted to go. I didn't want to make that pickup, and then the guy just rolled right up on me, walked to the front and scanned me, and just handed me and said like, follow the rules. Like, he didn't even say nothing. He just gave me the ticket, and he put the wrong address, the wrong street, the wrong type of ticket, and then he amended it like 2 days later. It was just really weird. It's weird, like the way that San Francisco runs their parking enforcement. They do things a certain way, but when you try to appeal it, they're just not really helpful. But if you appeal it, then you might not get any help to where you could do community service. But maybe you don't want to do community service because it's probably better that you drive to go pay that ticket than to, you know, the cost of your time. Maybe they don't pay you as much to cover those, you know, the costs. Like, you probably make more as a driver to go pay for that. So I think that there's a lot of ticket risk. You just follow the traffic laws. Don't speed because you could get a ticket, and don't do anything like running stop signs, making U-turns where you can't, no left turns at places. And then if you're in like Los Angeles, just follow the traffic law, like the laws there and stuff. And if you can't make a U-turn, don't make a U-turn. Don't be like just driving the way you want to drive. Drive the way that you're supposed to, and be safe. Because in all the years I've been ride sharing, I got 2 tickets, but that was because one time I had to sleep because I was tired and I didn't see the sign. And then another time I got a ticket was that bus zone one. It was like 4 years ago. And those are things that are related to the Uber service, because the rider got in a car and had to be standing by a bus zone, and I didn't want to pick them up. And sometimes they get mad, you know. They're like, so why are you going, like putting their hands up, like, why are you going here? And I always tell them like, well, I could have got a ticket, you know. I want to be careful, you know, because parking enforcement will give us a ticket. And so there is risk to get tickets as a ride sharing driver. And at the airport, there's a high risk in downtown areas because there are not a lot of good places to do pickups. And people will honk at you, police will tell you to move. So it's pretty fortunate that I only had 2 tickets over all that driving, all the time I was on the road, and all the people, the between 13 to 14,000 rides, just 2 tickets. And those are just like 2 times I remember, because I'm always driving safe. I follow the traffic laws, and I don't listen to clients when they're telling me to speed or to go pick them up at certain places. I look for a white curb and I park. I mean, there's times I might have to park somewhere to pick them up because they're not going to move, but I'm quick. When they get in the car, boom, I'm on it. Like, I'll pick them up, make sure they got a seatbelt on, and then I'm off. I'm off to the races, and then I'm gonna start the ride and everything. But I just don't want to take any chances with tickets, because then you go pull over somewhere because you need to use the restroom or anything. You want to park in the right spot. And you want to make sure that you don't park somewhere too long. You want to take a break. Don't park somewhere where you only got an hour and you're going to park there for an hour, 10 minutes. Or you park at a shopping center where they like chalk your tire or take a picture or something, and then you pull, and then you come back later on and they assume that you were there for the whole time, for like the whole 5 hours. But like, don't take those risks, you know, because it's hard to appeal tickets, you know. And even if you didn't do anything wrong, they're gonna give you a ticket. It's just like a revenue generated for them. So you want to make sure that you pay for parking spots, and you just follow everything, because you want to save money. You don't want to spend more money trying to do ride sharing because you're getting tickets, or your client is getting you tickets, or maybe Uber's not protecting you. So like, these are things that you have to worry about as a driver, because again, you're not making money if you have to pay these tickets, and it's just not a good thing to keep getting tickets when you're trying to make little money. You get 1 ticket and it's like a whole day of driving. So why are you going to want to give back that money to go give it to the city when you could like need it, you know, to pay your bills, or, you know, to make a living, you know, like, cause you work hard, you know, like you don't want to pour your money back into like the city to pay for tickets, or like for a parking spot or something like that. And I think it's important that you're careful and that you follow the rules, and ultimately you'll save money doing that. But then you won't get like tickets like carpool or moving violations or things that maybe they'll take you off the Uber platform for getting a ticket that you get points against your driving record. Now you have to pay more insurance, and then it's harder to operate as a driver because now you run the risk of getting more expensive insurance, and also if you get enough points you could maybe lose your license and all that, because if you're on the road a lot you run the risk of getting tickets, but if you follow the rules then you won't get tickets. So that's why you have to be very cautious in how you drive as an Uber driver. Just really kind of know your way around and just don't make those mistakes, because if you make those mistakes then you're just going to be wasting money, and then it could impact your driving record, and you want to be careful. So if anybody has any questions about driving, please let me know. I'll definitely answer any questions. That'd be great. So be safe out there, don't get those tickets, and just really notice all the signs and all of the turns you can make at the times too, because sometimes during carpooling and different times, or not carpooling, like during commute times, you can't make left turns on certain streets, like in San Francisco. No left turns from 4 to 7 or something p.m. or something. Like they're telling you don't do that because maybe it's too busy and you can't make those turns. You can't make a U-turn or make a left turn. So follow those signs and make sure you look at everything, because you make one little mistake, you're getting a ticket, and you don't want a ticket. And in your city, just know your area that you're driving, whether what state you're driving in or wherever you may be driving outside of the country, anywhere. Just really follow the traffic laws, and you won't get a ticket. Like you won't waste money paying for a ticket, citations. But so definitely avoid that.